Coming to you from Scenic the Basement at ICN Studios in Brooklyn, I'm Jana Jefferson, and this is And Friends with Jana Jefferson. Every other week, me and a new guest host each time are going to discuss the latest in pop culture, the industry life, and much more. And today's guest is none other than Payso.
I appreciate you having me here. Thank you so much.
How are you today, Payso?
I am great. I'm honored to be here with you.
I'm glad that you're here.
Yes.
I'm sorry to my listeners. This is the first episode in a month. Because people just keep skipping out on me, and I'm like, you know what? This is going to happen. Today it's going to happen, and I'm glad that you're here.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, unreliability is a big thing nowadays, isn't it?
It's a killer in this industry. So, before each episode officially starts, I have never, since we've only met one other time before this, Payso has his own show on the ICN Guys.
Yes, PMG Radio. Every Tuesday, 8 to 10 p.m.
Yeah,
live.
so he's right after me.
Yes.
So before each episode starts, I give my Beyonce mood of the day, because Beyonce is the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Absolutely.
To me.
Jesus Christ.
Always has. She is Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So I give my Beyonce mood of the day, basically how I'm feeling each day, with a Beyonce song, a Beyonce lyric. It could be Destiny's Child. It could be Girls Time if you're really, feeling yourself. Mm-hmm. So how would you describe your mood today?
Bills.
Why is that?
Because it's kind of weird. I have, and I wonder, maybe one of y'all can help me out. Is there an app to where you can manage all of the cards you have? Because I have several different credit and debit cards. And I always get a little bit confused with things and what's attached to what, and what needs to be paid where, or what automatically will debit what.
Now, here's the thing. I'm an old soul, so I do actually a couple of my things still with paper.
I think I might have to do that.
I'm the wrong person to ask. But all my different websites and stuff, I usually just do it and
Yeah, because one of my websites was suspended for 3 hours today without me even knowing. That was because I had switched the card on that account unknowingly and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I have to find out how to manage this shit. You understand what I'm saying? So I could just make it easier for myself. Because Lord knows I could afford $9, right? You know what I mean?
I would hope so.
Yeah, it's not that serious. So, yeah.
Bills. Yeah. I think mine, and I'm not insinuating anything, but I think mine would be Love on Top. Just because, the feeling you feel when you hear it, you're just it's just that sunny sort of feeling.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not insinuating anything.
I got you.
Life is fine.
Right.
Life is swell.
Right. Absolutely.
You can Love on Top without feeling anything.
I mean, maybe you can. I need to actually love on top. So go ahead.
It's gonna happen.
I would hope
just
so.
Keep that chin up. So, listener. Oh, by the way, let's shout out to Click Vodka. It's Tuesday.
Absolutely, we getting toasty
and
Tuesdays.
We are buzzing.
Toasty Tuesday,
and I'm feeling real toasty. My face is
three,
hot. My legs
sips.
are warm. Hey, that's what happens when you're 5'2". It just goes through you damn. So, listeners, remember, I've created a Spotify playlist for the Beyonce Mood of the Day. You search Beyonce Mood of the Day on Spotify. Don't forget the accent mark, because it's pretty important. But it's probably going to come up without it. And follow that shit. So, each song mentioned by myself and my friends to start off the show have been and will be added to the playlist after each episode, so you can stay up to date on your Beyonce discography, because I'm pretty sure the On the Run tour starts today in Europe. So, it's time. She's ready to take it. Take your coins.
Yes.
And you got to be ready. You got to be prepared. I still don't want to see Jay-Z. I have tickets for the Philly show. Still don't want to see Jay-Z.
Actually, I had a slight argument with somebody not earlier today, over the weekend, about who was more famous, Beyonce or Jay-Z. Somebody really tried to argue with me about that over Jay. Are you crazy? Beyonce is known worldwide.
I think it's Beyonce.
By far. I don't even think it's close.
She bought up his, how do you say, maybe not catalog, but his visibility. She bought up his visibility factor, made him a little bit, I wouldn't say family friendly, but just, I don't know. She's just so awesome, and everyone loves her, but not everyone loves Jay-Z. So it's when he's when she's with Jay-Z, it's they're there. There they are.
Right.
So I think it's definitely she's worlds.
No, and low key, I think she actually has done a lot for his career also. He's been able to flourish in leaps and bounds just as being known as Beyonce's husband. So that goes a long way. I feel even with the joint tours, this isn't the first one. Believe this is about their third joint tour together. And
I still don't want to see him.
No, you don't want to see some. You know
now listen here. I'm gonna still have fun. Like, I do enjoy Jay-Z's music. Mm-hmm. I think I'm still gonna enjoy hearing him. Mm-hmm. I've never seen Jay-Z perform before, so I'm excited regardless. Okay. But I'm like, I know what I'm getting when I see.
See, you didn't grow. You didn't come up in Reasonable Doubt era.
No, the first song I remember hearing from Jay-Z was Hard Knock.
Yeah, see, you didn't come up in nostalgic Jay-Z. I remember Jay-Z. I remember I was at the B-Sides concert at Terminal 5, mm-hmm. and for an old head like me, that was like the promised land to hear those records that you thought you would never see him perform. So I think that was incredibly dope. So. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we will certainly see how it goes.
Yeah, give Hov a shot, man. Stop playing around, man. Give Jay a shot, yo.
So, everybody, we are here with an additional guest. Her name is Kai Miller.
If you can't finish it, I'll finish it.
And when we get into the main topic, you will understand why I have a guy and a girl here. I'm really excited for that.
But okay, let's see.
The first section.
I just was informed about that just now.
I feel like I was set up on a blind date or something.
Nah. So the first segment of the show is called Talk of the Town. We just talk about like hot topics. Right now, the only thing that's really going on is this Roseanne shit.
Oh, yeah, I peeped that.
So Roseanne is, as we know, a racist and an awful bigot. Oh, you know.
I mean, duh.
She been a bigot. She been a like
no.
A
This
racist.
These are facts. These are all facts.
So she tweeted. She tweeted about a former Obama aide named Valerie Jarrett. I don't know why. I think it was there was a conspiratorial like right wing article.
Yeah.
About spying.
That was totally untrue.
Yeah. About it was probably from like what Breitbart or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's like some bullshit.
So it was like a WikiLeaks tweet about that, and she basically this was the tweet. It was deleted, but it said this about Valerie Jarrett, who's a black woman.
You can never delete anything, by the way.
Oh,
nothing is
the
ever.
The internet lives for life.
The internet always has receipts, but please continue.
It says Muslim Brotherhood, which is like I think it's a society of Muslim people, and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals Valerie Jarrett. Oh, so that's what she tweeted, and people are like, "You just called a black woman an ape." And everyone was like, and she's not Muslim at all. So it's like, what?
I believe her faith is that though. I believe she I don't know the exact extent of it, but yeah.
But you don't.
Let's do our Googles.
You don't say that stuff lightly. So everyone was like, girl, what are you doing? And she's like, it was a joke.
Even some of her cast members came out and said, we don't agree with that. Mm-hmm.
And then when she was getting called out, she said, Islam is not a race, lefties. Islam includes every race of people. Okay.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, because it's just so. Here's my thing. When I see these things, I always go back to the fact that the biggest problem is with this is number one, it's a recurring thing that we've been seeing over and over again for the past few years, is the fact that she was comfortable enough
to just be like,
to publicly say that. It's one thing to be, we all know, I truthfully, I feel like 90% of white people call us all kinds of niggas and monkeys behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. That's just how I feel, to be honest with you. But when you're publicly saying these things, especially as a celebrity, it just shows me that you're comfortable. We're in a time where people are comfortable with being a racist. Mm-hmm. And that's what the biggest thing I took out of it was.
And like the thing with this administration, it's like emboldened a lot of people to just be like, this is okay. I can say this because the president said
and let's not get it twisted. Her and Trump are buddies.
Yeah. She's like an avid supporter.
And Trump is an avid supporter of her. He was the first one in front line for her when the show hit them ratings that time, and it was going crazy.
How high the ratings
All I have to say is this. Her show got canceled. No one wanted to see it be revived anyway. She sounds really miserable to me, and something I just need to be clarified. I don't know why white people, the first insult they always go to is calling us apes. I don't understand the correlation. And I mean, if we are apes, we're probably the most civilized fucking animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have the most characters similar to us. Mm-hmm. So I just don't understand the correlation all the time.
Apes are
so extremely intelligent.
Apes are extremely intelligent.
They're extremely intelligent. So I don't understand why that's always the first insult that white people or bigots or whomever racists tend to go to when it comes to black people. It's just really weird to me and bizarre.
It's very sad.
And it's
just like...
And it's like, Roseanne, look at how you look. Look at
that
how
was like
when
what's his face, Steve Bannon, looking like a gargoyle, and he was like, "Oh, we're like the most superior," and I'm like, "Look at you, look at your face." I just don't
understand.
Oh, that might be why why white women age so terribly,
like
and black women don't. Let's talk
about
it.
It's the hate.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand.
It's sad.
I really like you were saying, Payso, like you were saying, Payso. It's just like a lot of people have this new sense of boldness, like you said. They feel emboldened to just become so hateful.
I seen it in Charlottesville.
Disgusting.
That was like the first time where I seen like motherfuckers just kicking their feet up on racism right now. Like, damn, this is.
But I mean, it's always been there. It's always been there. This is nothing new. It's
now
not a new
it's just
phenomenon.
like they're like coming out of the shadows because like it's okay.
Because I mean, look at who is the leader of the quote unquote free world.
It's like in The Wiz when they like take off their robes and start dancing to Brand New Day. It's actually just like that.
Well, and that's one thing I said that is hilarious, right? I caught that late, but that's hilarious. But no, that was the impact of Trump being elected. It wasn't him being president, is what he represented as president.
Exactly.
That was the problem.
Exactly that.
It represented that level of people being able to come out of them shadows and be comfortable in their skin with being quote unquote for America, which a lot of times represents racism and bigotry and you know all of these things that we see today that are going on now that weren't going on 10 years ago. You understand? So like I said, racism has always existed. Don't get it twisted. We know that. We black. We know that.
We know. It's been there.
You got motherfuckers putting up no colors allowed signs in front of their diners now, all of a sudden. Like these things are really
like people
happening.
are being lynched in like Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's bizarre.
This is reality. Honestly, I feel... Let's not even get into it. I feel like it's all a simulation, yo.
This is not
crazy.
I feel like honestly we're in an episode of The Simpsons.
We're in the episode of Black Mirror.
Yes.
That is what we're in, and it has something to do with our phones.
It's just
totally
like this is real.
It's It's Instagram.
Like it's wild.
Instagram and Twitter. But that's what happened.
But as we found out, her show was canceled because
bigots
never win. But crazy. Oh, it's not really crazy. The president of ABC Entertainment is a black woman. So she was but
that don't mean nothing because her bosses are white.
And she also like let the show happen in the first place. So it's
I just don't understand the revivals in Hollywood, period. I think it's time to hire some young, dope content creators, specifically people of color.
Yeah, because we like
particularly black people
we can
to
tell
write your stories
so well because we're the only ones that have lived
But
it.
the biggest problem with that is what? Is that we don't control or own the things we dominate. And that's the problem right there. You know, that's why I used to work for Viacom. Viacom owns BET. And I used to sit in, like, I didn't work with, like, it was, I don't want to explain it here, but it was the people who ran the BET thing was a whole different thing. But just out of curiosity, I used to sit in on some of the meetings. 90% of the room was white that are making decisions for black entertainment television. It was mind-boggling to me. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem right there.
The stress. The stress that we go through. But, everything was canceled. I think she got dropped from her agency. People are finally being like, yeah, girl, like she's been like this though.
But she never publicly came out.
She's been messy and problematic.
No, like
for a
her,
long
like
time.
even on her, like the original Roseanne, she was like
she tap
loud
danced.
and nasty.
No, she tap danced, but she never just straight out and said "fuck you, niggas." Like, you know what I mean? Like
she
like
did tap dance. I can agree because
I
I used to watch that show because it came on Nick at Night and it was late, and I'd be up late as a kid. And it just was always that show that was up at like midnight or 1 in the morning.
I ever watched Roseanne.
It would just be on in the background, like background noise. It was.
I don't think.
Yeah, it was literally.
But I know that. I know
literally.
And I will say this too. One thing I can definitely, because I'm a comedy buff. You understand what I'm saying? white comedy and black comedy are two totally different things.
It's
yo.
very different.
Like the level of humor are different. You understand what I'm
different
saying?
universes.
Yeah,
It's
it's two different things.
references and everything, and
Yeah, it's two different things.
But I think they tried to like, in a way, like make it more not inclusive because it's Roseanne, but there was like a little black girl on the new season.
so they were trying to make it more modern or what have
but
you.
it's like you know,
I don't know.
Was not
I just
happy.
I've never like I did watch Roseanne. I can admit that, but like I've never been into shows like Friends.
I hate
Nope,
Friends.
Seinfeld.
Nope.
They had
funny. We talk about this all the time. It's
black
so dry,
characters,
and it's just so dry.
But
what world do you live in? What city do you live in where you encounter no one that is not white?
But that goes back to what I was saying. The levels of comedy are different.
It's just weird.
And mind you, Seinfeld was like the creme de la creme.
It was, and
sitcom comedy.
Yeah.
But
You understand what I'm saying? And they couldn't get a laugh out of me for nothing. Like,
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
just the worst.
Nothing.
It's not. It's. I love dry humor. That is not the kind of dry humor I subscribe to, like at all. Like I'm just like I can sit and watch Seinfeld and just be like,
I think that's what makes Tiffany Haddish so funny to me because she be dead serious.
Yes,
I love her. She's like
Like,
around the
she
way
be
girl.
dead
She's funny.
ass serious and
Did
it
you
be
down to
funny.
earth.
her ex-husband is suing her for defamation
Why?
For
What'd she
real?
say about
because
him?
in her book she had a whole chapter about how he like beat her and all the stress that he put her through made her lose the baby.
Oh, please. Ike turn the suit, Tina turn the suit.
We'll
That ain't about
see
no-
what happens there, but
I didn't even know that.
he was like,
drop a bomb
this is
on
all
that.
fake.
Shit.
He was like, yeah, this is fake. I never did that. I never did this. And I was like,
Wow, that's
whoa. It's rough. So we'll see what happens with that.
Right? Where was this energy a year ago?
Right?
When did she drop the book?
Like November.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he just
That's
read
really
it. And he's like,
messy.
wait a minute.
Yeah, that's.
And she's
really
like starting to
messy.
host all these things. She's in all these
Yes,
TV shows
she's
and movies
hosting
and
the
stuff.
MTV Movie Awards.
Mhm.
I was like, okay,
Oh,
that's
she's
dope.
popping right now.
She's like, this is like her prime.
Seriously.
Yeah, once you got TMZ following you around, you popping.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so like
Mhm.
Wanda Sykes also got she quit her job at Roseanne. Wanda Sykes was like a consulting producer
Oh wow.
on Roseanne, and I guess after all
AKA,
these
she
comments,
was behind the scenes writing the jokes, and yeah, she bounced.
we'll see, maybe. Yeah, she wrote on Twitter. She's like, I'm leaving Roseanne. But then when I think it was the Daily Beast, they were like, oh, Roseanne head writer Wanda Sykes. She's like, I was not the head writer. Relax. So, but
They love a good headline. They love some
Mhm.
good clickbait. You know
but
that.
Yeah, Wanda Sykes is like, don't get it twisted. I'm not coming back, but that was not my job.
Mhm.
So
Wanda's cool. I interviewed her before. She's really
she's
cool.
a nice person.
She's a nice black lady.
We like Wanda Sykes. But that's gonna be the talk of the town, so we can get right into this this questions with the guests.
Oh yeah.
So
Here we
a
go.
couple weeks ago, actually it was last week. Was it 2 weeks ago or last week? Maybe like a week and a half ago. Joe Budden. If you don't know who Joe Budden is, he's Pump It Up.
That is dirty.
He's pump it up. Oh,
You know, because some of my listeners are not gonna know who Joe Budden is. I'm
seriously,
Go
y'all,
ahead, I'm
don't
sorry.
do her like that. Do your Googles. If we gotta do our Googles, you gotta do your Googles too. Don't act like that.
So Joe Budden is also the former host of Everyday Struggle on Complex, and now he is he's a Revolt host. He's getting his own show coming out in this summer. But he tweeted, "We need more females covering hip hop."
Yeah.
Or did he say women or females? Oh.
black. I think he said like black.
Please don't take us back to the original thing me and her were just debating.
I think it was like more black women or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or
But
female. It might have
just-
been female.
I hope he didn't write females.
I hope he
'cause
didn't
it's
write
just like-
females. I think
Oh,
it
he
was black
put woman. Whew, okay.
Women.
I just
Okay,
found the tweet.
women.
He put, "We need more women covering
Okay.
hip hop." And then someone said, a hip hop version of Taylor Rooks, who's a sports journalist, and he's
Yes.
like, "Let me know when you find her." So that's like stupid to say because there's a lot of women covering hip hop.
A ton, and it just goes, and people act like Kim Osario didn't exist, or Karen Civil hasn't been covering
Or
hip hop for
Danielle
years.
Smith.
Yeah.
Are y'all kidding me?
Or Yo-Yo. A lot of people forget Yo-Yo was a hip hop journalist for a long time, and it just goes to show what social media is, where people just fly off the hip with these statements.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times it's just based off of looking for a reaction or just to see what the responses are going to
And
be.
you know, Joe Budden loves a good reaction.
I don't
Yeah.
even the thing that kind of bothers
Gossip Viv,
me.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Gossip Viv, got to shout her out too. She's been covering hip hop for years.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
Go ahead. It's okay. The thing that bothers me is that someone said Taylor Rooks. So you're saying, like, are you saying that the women in hip hop are invisible to you because they aren't physically appealing physically appealing to you? Because I think Taylor Rooks is very talented and I think she does her thing, but I think most of her appeal is how she looks. A lot of men on the internet thirst over her, like, damn, like that sports bae or whatever bae. Like, I see that all the time. I actually have like
a little comment there. Like, in that respect, we can look at like the Complex anchors.
Exactly.
They're like the face of the brand. What's that girl's? What was her name? She just left. Pretty girl with like very
Emily Oberg.
No, not her.
The white one.
The one who was like racially ambiguous. Bia? What was her name?
Oh,
Bia?
yeah.
She was white?
No, she was like
black?
Something.
At Complex?
Yeah. I think she just left. But she
no,
had, like,
but like even
big,
Complex was like.
And she was real pretty. And like, you know that the people are going to click the video because of the way that the girl looks. But you're like, you know that this girl is not doing the work.
Yeah.
Whoa, hold up. What do you mean?
Like, she's not like scouring the net for stories. She's
you
just
think
like,
she's just a face?
Yes. Yeah. 9 times out of 10 for those type of brands,
they're just the face.
At Complex?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, listen, I'm all for shitting on Complex, so let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, so,
I don't think it's necessarily shitting on them. I think it's pointing out a critique, and I think what you're saying essentially is that people are only willing to listen to women in this space when we look a certain way.
Well, here's the thing with Complex. Complex is more about perception and reality. You understand what I'm saying? Because they have to get those clicks. They have to get that ad revenue. They have to get those looks.
Yeah,
you know
no matter how you think of their actual, like, quote unquote, journalism, integrity, and all that jazz, integrity doesn't exist up there. They do know their brand, though.
No, they know what they do, and they're great at what they do. But don't get it twisted. Integrity does not exist up there. It's just about getting from point A to point Z, period. They don't give a fuck how they get there. It's just about getting there.
That's just got the inside scoop.
No, I'm just saying, like, because I spent a lot of time up there. I've actually got a few checks from Complex. So they're like, they have a system and they're good at what they do. So that's why a lot of artists get mad at Complex, because there is no journalistic integrity up there. It's just about getting them clicks.
There isn't a lot of journalistic integrity at a lot of places I'm starting to see now. And it's just very clickbaity. And it's just like, what's the point? What's the point now?
Like, I didn't go to college and spend all this money to be a blogger. I didn't spend it to be no shade to gossip, but like a headline maker. Like, I didn't do that. That's not what I went to school for. I went to school because I love the English language, and I actually want to write and do that kind of stuff.
And you're good with words.
And you
you
do that. And you do that.
But do you find yourself stuck between a rock and a hard place at times?
At times, because like, I love to work on the stuff that I'm working on, and I'm very passionate about it, but I know that it's not going to get the eyes, it's not going to get the clicks, because people, one, they don't like to read anymore. Like, that's just like the fact of it. People don't like to read.
Hence why I was so amazed by her having a book.
Yes, to books. And two, it's just like, I feel like sometimes no matter what I do, it just like doesn't matter. Because I'm not like at the forefront of it, so but I'm like, but I have to still do it because this is what I love to do. And
you know, and my heart really goes out to all of the yous in the world, because no, seriously, because you have a passion and you have a drive, but the times are just so fucked up.
It's so
to where you can't be authentic nowadays.
With it. I just do it anyway. I'm like, whatever.
I feel like
I love to write.
I feel like in spite of all of that, you can't live in that state of mind.
No, independently you can, but she's corporate.
Yeah, I'm just saying, as far as that state of mind in general. Like, yes, this is the current circumstance, right? But that's why you put your all into your side projects like this podcast. You know what I'm saying? You start meaningful conversation and you spark like a really dope dialogue with this. People are gonna start paying attention. It doesn't necessarily have to come from the writing. And I feel like that's something I've learned as a writer. I used to think it was my words only. And while my words did touch people, it was other things that I started to do, like produce events or, you know, curate an art show or be on a podcast like this. That's when people start paying attention. But
everything you said was independent, though.
No, it is. But I just feel like, yes, there are a lot of stigmas that come with being a woman in hip hop. There are a lot of obstacles that we face. We just still have to push through, because someone's gonna feel it. I have so many people who are like, "Yo, keep doing what you're doing."
But I think that's why a lot of women, even when you take a misinfo, who I've had personal conversations with. That's why she had to leave Hot 97, because her integrity wouldn't let her stay there. You understand what I'm saying? It became political to where she couldn't talk about certain artists or have certain artists on her website because of the politics that come with the corporate.
I think that's for male or female.
No, that's a fact. No, I'm just saying.
I think that's for anyone in the industry. There are so many like secret guidelines you gotta play by.
If you go up to Complex at least once a month, you'll see a different staff probably every time, because it's a revolving door up there. People are so in and out up there because some people are with it, some people ain't. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just it's just the unfortunate dynamic of what goes on in a lot of high entity places that control, you know, the content for hip hop and the dialogue that goes on within hip hop.
Ultimately, adjacent to that conversation, I feel like the reason women in hip hop are not being noticed is because of the physical appeal. And that's because hip hop is built off of women. It's built off of sexuality. It's built off of degrading those women. It's built off of all of that. But it is. That's a part of the culture.
I would counter that. I would say that women, to a lot of degree, the strongest opinion in music nowadays is the female opinion. Because if you look at the
woman?
I'm sorry, woman. It's the opinion that comes from women, because when you look at them records that go, a lot of times, like, let's keep it funky. A woman will buy a record before a dude would.
No, this is a fact.
When you go to a concert, last concert I was at,
there's a whole bunch of women there. Yeah,
by women there.
No, I'm not saying we don't play a hand in it. I mean, I wrote
a huge hand.
I wrote a whole piece on it.
Yeah.
Definitely Google that. Hip hop hates me. The complexity of being a woman for the culture. Definitely hit that. Definitely, you know, Google that. Let me know what you think about that. But I totally agree with that. And I said that throughout the whole piece. I'm like, I play a huge role in this. And it's like, it's something that I was raised on. I mean, when you come up and you hear sounds, I don't know, like a Jay-Z or a Rakim or like a LL or whoever you grew up listening to, that's who I was raised listening on.
Here we go.
From Queens. And from Queens, you know, born and raised. So the thing is, you grow up with those sounds and minds, and then you kind of take on this, I guess, mentality, like when they are being derogatory towards women, that's not necessarily that they're talking to.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It becomes like you kind of separate yourself, you know, from those women and who you are. But then you realize it's like, that could be me in any of those instances. And it kind of takes on a different meaning as you get older. So that's kind of what I explored in the piece. But I mean, it's like, if you're a fan, it's hard to kind of...
Right. You get old enough to ask yourself, well, who are these bitches and hoes you're always talking about?
Exactly. It's not necessarily hard for me, because there's certain artists who I can't really deal with, you know, like a Tekashi 6ix9ine, like a Kodak Black, like a Famous Dex, like men who are using their power to physically harm women. Right. That's where I draw the borderline. A lot of people say, well, you know, you have to separate the personal from the artistry. And it's like,
not when it comes
not necessarily when it comes to dozens of people being harmed.
But see, that's the wackest shit about this generation today. And not to sound like the old head in the room, but that's the wackest shit about this generation today, because it don't matter what you do in your personal life as long as you put that hit record out.
That's what it feels
that's
like.
That's all that matters.
But everyone's chasing the clout, the numbers, all that stuff.
That's not even today. Look at R. Kelly, y'all. This been happening.
Well, you I could go on all day about that.
It's been happening, y'all. I'm just saying, like,
it has. But not to cut you off, but we let a lot of shit slide with R. Kelly.
That's what I'm saying. But back to the racism conversation. It's been happening, but we are living in a time now of a new awakening, and everybody's eyes are wide open.
I feel like it's more like a reckoning too, because it's just like,
seriously,
here he go, we're gonna
like
get
the
you.
wrath is coming down.
Like that's why he's like doing all these little concerts and like giving out free T-shirts and free tickets, because it's just like he knows.
Did you hear what he said at that show? Like, they should have came for me.
Oh yeah, he's like,
he was popping some hot shit.
Yo,
I've injected the world with my music already.
Let's keep it real.
Nasty.
So gross.
But let's keep it real. He wasn't lying.
That shit was gross.
I don't agree with nothing R. Kelly does, but he was telling the truth.
Voice and like the way he said it was just like,
right, it sounded really perverted, right? It did sound
really villainous.
He's like,
it was real villainous. I was like,
really
but the thing with R. Kelly is the fact that he was telling the truth, because what he was saying was the legacy is already stamped. there's nothing like the step in the name of love is already out there. You understand what I'm saying? Like feeling on your booty is already out there.
It's not about the
Sex
legacy.
me is already out there.
It's not about the legacy.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Like the biggest point he made was the fact that we should have been said fuck R. Kelly long time ago.
Though, and
but we have for so long
because he's you know what it is. He's preying on young women who are historically disenfranchised. Historically, the world is just like fuck what like black girls have to say because you guys suck. So they're not going to listen.
And nobody even looks.
But
for us.
Who is the main demographic at an R. Kelly concert?
That's the thing because there's a hierarchy that's just like black women always protect black guys
who have known who R. Kelly is for years. And they're still front row.
That's the problem with the black community as a whole. We never address internally what's going on when it comes to sexual assault, especially, or when it comes to homosexuality. Nobody wants to talk, but everybody wants to talk tough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the fact that we so goddamn forgiving.
That's
we are the most forgiving people in the fucking world.
Even like Dr. Dre. Yeah. Dr. Dre had a lot of
several women that came out said
he even punched a Vibe reporter.
Mm-hmm. Like he is not.
I think that was Kim Osario. Matter of fact,
he's not.
No, was it Kim Osario?
It was D Barnes.
It was at the Vibe Awards.
It was at a Vibe after party.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been several women that said
even Michelet. Look at Michelet. She had a whole freaking thing about it.
She said he was whooping her ass for years.
Openly. Mm-hmm. But
everybody's still walking around with them goddamn fucking headphones though.
I had to throw away my Beats because like one of them like blew out in my ear and I like fucked up my eardrum.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was really bad. Like I don't trust Beats.
But that's the thing.
It cost like $15-$20 to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I think
I'm saying like 35, but still.
But I think you made a good point though, because people are still rocking the headphones, right? People are still gonna listen to Tekashi 6ix9ine. People are gonna still say Free Kodak if he ever goes back.
Famous
whatever,
Dex.
Right? Famous Dex, whatever. Still listen to his music. But I think it has to be a social consciousness where we come together and we say like these type of people cannot be a part of this culture because I feel like it wasn't essentially built on that. It's been a man's sport, hip hop, but I feel like that's not what its sole purpose was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that at all.
Everybody.
Like when we look at the Roxanne Shantaes and people of that time and like the Salt and Peppers, I don't think it necessarily was built on that because they were there in that place at that time.
And it was so tough for them.
It was so tough for them. But I think like they still like, wrote it out and did what they had to do. But I just
and even going back,
no,
like using that and then also using that and also going to like the hip hop writers, like we do put in a lot of the work. Like you look at my place of work, there's an 8-person staff. There's 7 women.
Exactly.
Like we are putting in the work, but we get so overlooked, and it's like it's really disheartening because it's just like you're gonna say like we need more people covering hip hop. The editor-in-chief of XXL is a woman.
Exactly.
Like there are so many women running it, and you're just like, oh yeah.
I wasn't even sure where that came from to me because as soon as I read that tweet, I was like, "Yo, dog! Like, are you just oblivious to what's like going on?"
Like, do you not know who a Scotty Beam is, a Gia Peppers, a Ivy Rivera,
we're running the
like
game.
a Crystal Vega? Like, you don't know any of those people.
I found out about A Boogie from my little sister.
Mm-hmm. We're listening. We're paying attention. It's just a shame because we're not in the trenches, like huddled up with them on the gram. Like it's just like some people don't want to do that.
Huddled up on the gram.
Like for me, like when I write about these musicians, you're not gonna see a picture of me doing like anything with them or hanging out with them until the piece is out, so I could be like, hey, look what I did, go read it.
I used to post photos. I don't even post photos anymore.
It depends on the person. Sometimes I'm just like, if you want to read this, go read it. Here's a picture. But it sucks because like some people only look at the picture and they're like, you're doing a great job. I'm like,
no, you're right. Okay, it depends on the person.
You're not supporting though.
It depends on the person for sure. But I don't even like to post. I don't know.
I don't use social media like that. Only Twitter because I always have something funny to say. But
well, I think a lot of females who do their journal. I'm sorry, women. A lot of women who do their journalistic duties are confined to just being low key and just.
That's how I feel too.
Take a back seat to the men. They want to be out there stunting, and then you're like, "Well, you didn't."
I just feel like
warrant this.
I don't know if you have, but I've encountered like artists who tried to flirt with me during an interview. I just be like, "Yo, dog, like."
That's why I always look a mess. Wear sweats, have my eyebrows untamed. Just kidding. I don't look like that. I always try to look nice. But like, nah, no one's ever done that to me yet.
But I think, I think it's just hard, like, trying to find the balance between, like, just owning who you are and doing your job. And I don't feel like you should have to take away from either or to appease someone or, like, make sure someone doesn't hit on you. Like, there should just be professionalism across the board. You know what I'm saying? So,
really disappointing.
But like I was saying, it all goes back to appeal, though. That's why Joe Budden has not seen no Taylor Rooks, because if that's the standard by which he wants to base the visibility off of, then it's clear that it's a physical thing.
So do you think that there needs to be a change in the people who consume hip-hop journalism, or it's just like more like the mindset in general that needs to change?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
That it's just about who you. That depends on who you ask, honestly, because there's so many pieces to hip hop now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's not just one. I don't feel like hip hop is just one community anymore. There's so many layers to it. Like, even when I was looking at Rolling Loud, like, you understand what I'm saying, which is a big festival down in Miami, there was just so many layers to hip hop. Like, you could go from looking at Lil Pump to J. Cole just like that. You understand what I'm saying? It's just two totally different things. Or you could go from looking at Chief Keef to, Kendrick, right? Just like that, right? You understand what I'm saying? So it just all depends on who you ask, man. Hip hop is just so layered right now. But I do think that, once again, the voice of hip hop music is dominated by women, because more often than not, when you put that aux cord in a car or a cab or whatever, you're gonna let the female play her records.
The women,
right? Or the women, you're gonna let the women play their records because you want to know what they're into. You understand what I'm saying? What they're listening to.
I don't agree with that at all.
No?
See, that's why we have these conversations.
I don't. Hip hop is dominated by the male voice. The men that you see at the forefront who are not rappers in respect to journalism are people like a Joe Budden, a Charlemagne.
No, I think we're saying two different things. I was talking about more about, based off of, opinions. What's dope at the moment, or what's
I don't really think it comes down to, I think, yes, women are test subjects for what's going to shake in the club.
Who do you think Cardi B's biggest fans are, men or women?
Gay men.
It's gay men, actually.
Which is basically women. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't say that.
Same thing, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? Like, last time I was at a Cardi B event, it wasn't a show, but it was an event. It was about 80% females. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I understand you're saying as far as the fan base, but I feel like the forces and the voices dominating are men.
The powers that be.
The powers that be.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm not. I would never.
The powers that be are definitely men, but I'm
talking about in terms of the when I think when labels sit in their meetings, they're trying to grab that woman's
attention.
There we go. I do like definitely think, because every artist wants to put out that, women friendly,
like whatever
record
that gets the rump shaken.
Yeah, that there's not an artist out today that doesn't want to put out at least one of those records.
Like a good strip club record.
They all want to put out that record. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand where you're coming from. But back to your question, I think I don't know. You said, is it how we consume? Is it how we consume it? Who consumes it, or is it?
It's just the mindset.
Or is it the mindset? I think it's the mindset and how we produce it. Why don't we have more, women in hip hop on the red carpet? Why don't we see more of their faces, the diversity of that? Or even sharing those type of stories. Like when I was at BET, I was like, now we have to talk about, the women in hip hop right now coming up, and just like the gap between then and now. Like sat down with, Trina, Rhapsody, Kari Fo, and Dej Loaf, a couple other people.
Deja's the cutest.
So
thing.
cute
so
and
nice.
So pretty and nice.
She has such a unique voice. Like I love her voice.
Try Me is still my favorite record.
I love Dej Loaf. It's like a classy ghetto. Like I love her voice. Yo.
And just sat down with them and talk to them about, like, what's really going on. Like, how do you feel about being in this space that is so male dominated, but there's so many women being overlooked? Like, I just named 5 like women in hip hop, and I feel like everybody's favorite question or theory is like, where are all the women in hip hop? Like, where are all the female rappers? Like, oh, like Nicki Minaj can, or like there can only be one, like a Nicki to
and they
thrive
all have
at
to
one
have
time.
like a certain aesthetic. They can't be like, oh my god, I hate when people are like, oh well, Young M.A is not a girl, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, she is.
She is. That's how she identifies. So.
She is a female. She is a female. Yeah. A female. Yes. That's where it works.
You see. That's what I mean.
Y'all about to take it to a whole nother level with that one. Let's leave it alone. So
That's
Young M.A is a female. Huh? She's not a woman though.
No, she's a woman.
But she describes
she is a butch woman.
Yes.
And she identifies as such. So
I'll leave it there.
Like when people are like, "Oh no, well she's not a girl."
I'll leave it
but
there.
Blah blah blah. But she could spit though. But like,
exactly.
but she's still a woman, so you can,
Exactly.
No, and I think
like
M.A is extremely dope. You know what I'm saying? I think she opened the door for a lot of artists
I agree.
who were being overlooked that came from her same, cloth. So shout out to M.A. But like I say, I think that women just it's so tough to have this conversation because obviously I'm not in y'all skin and I don't walk in y'all path. But I do think that y'all are so powerful because honestly, everything a man does is for y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when a man gets dressed, he's worried about, how y'all are going to see it.
Okay, A$AP Rocky. You saw that interview when he was saying that? He's like, I get my teeth clean for women. I get dressed
I wouldn't know that. I'm not
women.
a Rocky fan, but
I
he actually
smell good for women.
And you know what's crazy?
And meanwhile, girls are just like, I want to look good for myself.
What's crazy?
Part.
I actually know the chick that Rocky got his whole style from. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know the chick who literally birthed his style. He got his whole style from a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Like, seriously. So, that just goes, my point is that just goes back to how powerful y'all are, whether you know it or not. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a lot of things men do. I
totally know that.
Oh, I know. I'm self-aware.
That's a well-known fact.
Women
embedded in my brain.
That's the thing.
Like, no man goes to the club worried about what niggas are gonna think. You
Yo,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
a big fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Unless that gentleman is into other gentlemen.
Yeah. But even then, there's just like, if you know you're a bad bitch, you're gonna just be a bad bitch, and you're not even gonna think about what other people think of you because you just give off the essence of bad bitchery.
Yeah.
You just know who you are.
But like I was saying, it comes down to the platforms. Just spotlight more women in hip hop. I think that's the simple solution.
You know that unpopular opinion trend that was happening for the other day, which we'll get to in a second. But like, there was one yesterday that I retweeted that was like, let me pull it up. It basically said like unpopular opinion journalists edition. So people were just supposed to quote tweet with what they thought. And this one said, unpopular opinion journalist edition. Some of these well-known writers and editors aren't talented. They're just well-connected. And I feel like that has to do a lot with.
I totally agree.
I agree
a
with
lot
that.
with
Totally,
it as well.
Totally agree.
As what y'all call it today, cloud plays a big part
Big
in
role.
everything nowadays.
Yo, it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Absolutely.
I've never gotten
and
a
how many
job.
people your voice can reach.
Exactly. I've never gotten a job in this industry without being plugged in through someone. I never applied through no job board or like I have, but that didn't lead to anything.
It doesn't always lead to anything. But then sometimes you do meet people through the job boards and you're like, well, now they know who I am. So like maybe they'll refer me for something else.
Yeah, shout out to the job boards.
But like applying online, that's
shout
never.
Out to Indeed.
Applying online has never
all
been
that.
successful
Monster.
for me.
Let's get it popping. Shout out to all that. Let's not discourage people from creating them accounts.
Indeed is the shit.
Get it
Indeed is popping.
I like Indeed because they like. Not saying I'm like trying to leave, but like they do update their stuff a lot,
and they always hit you in your email.
Absolutely.
I seen somebody tweet. It was funny. I seen somebody tweet the other day. She said, "When did LinkedIn become a dating site?" You know what I mean?
Yo, LinkedIn is getting really kind of crazy on there. It's just
like,
way
niggas be
too
trying
much.
to holler on LinkedIn. Damn.
You want to reach out to someone. You're like, oh, I like the things that they do. You like want to reach out to them on LinkedIn, and you're like, oh, I don't know, like. I feel like when I send someone something on LinkedIn, like close my laptop and like throw it. I'm like, oh, I'm just like so nervous. I feel like I'm going on a date. I really do. It's like nerve wracking. It shouldn't have to be.
It shouldn't have to be, but it's getting out of hand. Like some of the things I see on my feed, I don't know about y'all, but it's like
Yeah, I had no idea like dudes was really
crazy.
shooting a shot on LinkedIn. That's crazy.
It's just like the pictures. It looks almost like Instagram. I don't know who I'm following. Honestly, to be quite honest with you, I have 500 plus connections, and it's just really getting out of hand now.
I don't remember the last time I went on LinkedIn. So like I log in and they're like, oh, you have like 11 like
notifications. It's just
like,
like, whoa.
Where? Since
Why?
when?
How did you find me? What do you want? Why are you here?
And then now it says like where you come up in searches.
Yes.
And you can see like what people
are
are searching to find you.
I love it
So
though.
interesting.
I love it.
Ooh, it's creepy. But do you think that do you think it's like a clout chasing is a gender specific thing in this industry?
Oh hell no, girl.
It's a social media thing.
I'm just checking.
Nah,
it's a social media thing.
These men are doing way more than I've seen any of these women doing. Tekashi 6ix9ine is a prime example.
What you gotta get Tekashi, man? It's
he's
like the
nasty.
third or fourth time you've mentioned Tekashi in this podcast.
Is he nasty?
Let's get to the nitty gritty, man. What you gotta get Tekashi?
I mean, he's a sexual offender, but
right.
That part.
Did you? And I'm not defending them. I'm just
offender,
genuinely asking. I'm not a Tekashi fan. I'm not defending. I'm just asking. Did you hear his story, his side of the story?
Yes, but I think it's total bullshit.
Okay.
I feel like he's downplaying it a lot.
Oh, totally. Because even when he was talking about it, he lied about particular parts of the situation.
No, his story was valid. Whether he's telling the truth or not is another thing. The story he told.
No, he was saying like I think it was just something about his court case or what have you. It was a minute detail, but it was something he was saying about like how they let him off, this, that, and the third, but like he was still fighting it at the time.
No, then he lied about the whole GED thing which was a whole nother lie because that didn't even make no
exactly.
sense. Yeah, so I totally get what you're saying.
Exactly. So it's like, what else are you lying about? And it's just I don't know. It's
his
crazy. Hair, his teeth, his face.
He's just like a very unfortunate.
But let's keep it funky. The nigga cannot miss right now.
That's the
even
thing.
if he was shooting from the ocean, he can't miss.
Support. They're just like I feel like the more you talk about these problematic rappers, the more people are going to be like
they get a
on.
cult
They're
following.
Like, look, like he's bad and he's like.
But I mean, where do you think he'll be a year from now?
That's a good question.
That's how I look at it. And honestly, my thing is, I just bottom line, I don't support anyone who's out here abusing or harming women. End of story. It's just
I'm with
like,
you on that.
Nasty.
Like that's why I can't really support nothing that Famous Dex kid was doing. Like he was on camera beating his girl's ass.
No.
I can't fuck with that.
And NBA YoungBoy, like nah.
Yeah, that's another one. I can't fuck with that.
That's another one.
Tado, he was on the Cuban
like
Dog
Mystical.
Chick. Yeah.
Like it's a dub.
Can never hear shake that ass again.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's like the first time you went to jail for it, but nigga, you went to jail, came home, and caught another rape charge. Like
that's
nigga,
what
what?
I mean.
Like,
but that's what I mean. But that's what I mean.
Terrible.
It's a culture which hip hop is like almost inherently built upon. Like you see, it's a trend.
Yeah.
All these men with this money, this clout, and this power.
Because, like I said, because we are forgiving. Like, think about it. When Mike, listen, as much as we love Michael Jackson. But when the first boy came out, we all said the little nigga lying. Mike would never do that.
Honestly, that situation was sus though.
You see, there you go. You see that right there?
No, I'm saying no because after the first time that it happened, right? People were still sending their children to his home.
That's what I'm saying.
So
but then it happened again. Then there was another accusation after that.
A couple of those boys came out and said it wasn't true.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, look, as a people, as us being dark-skinned people.
I see what you're saying, but the Michael Jackson situation was real sus.
No, I don't listen. Ain't nothing you could do to get me away from Mike. I'ma love him. You know what I mean? Till I'm out of here.
Even before he died, I'm on to conspiracy theories, by the way. Disclaimer. But even before he died, he was like, "Yo, they're gonna come and get me." And they're gonna say I killed myself, and they're gonna say I was drugged out.
For our heroes,
he said all of that.
Black people, but black people, for our heroes, we're gonna ride for them no matter the circumstances.
I wouldn't say Mike is my hero. I just think his situation is very peculiar to me. The way it happens,
right? But Mike is a hero for a lot of black people.
He is. No, I agree.
So
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we were so quick to shun the accusation, regardless. Even with R. Kelly's first, so when he went to court and all that.
I mean, R. Kelly's first was Aaliyah, y'all. He married the girl when she was
1994.
But he went to trial.
Young as hell.
He went to trial. He got acquitted, and everybody was like, "You see, I told y'all that little girl was lying on him, or her family was lying on him.
Because we'll never listen to black girls when they say help.
They don't even look for us when we're missing. That is just the bottom line.
But had it been a little white girl he peed on, he would have been in jail.
Story.
Since
different
2002.
story. And that's why I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to this conversation about sexual assault and like just the reckoning, like you said, we've been having, we need to stop. I feel like the racial divide we're putting it into, it kind of bothers me as well. Like, to excuse the actions of an R. Kelly and say, what about a Harvey Weinstein? It's like,
Harvey Weinstein's turkey ass was walking down West 4th Street getting arrested. Like, it's not a race thing at all.
But the difference with Harvey Weinstein is that his accusers were white women.
Exactly. So people were eager to listen and did something.
Same thing with Bill Cosby. That's the only thing that made Bill Cosby case different, is that his accusers were white women.
Thank you. And that's just what I think we're both trying to say. Like, it's just the value of the black woman and her voice.
Like, people,
nobody cares.
So ignorant. Some people, man.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Clarence Thomas got accused of beating up and sexually assaulting his mistress, and still is on the fucking Supreme Court.
Yo, crazy.
Goodness gracious. Well, that was the end of the questions with the guests. So thank you guys so much for that. So the third segment of the show, you might have seen it on Twitter. It's called Unpopular Opinions. We've been doing this from the start, so I'd like to think that people are listening to my show, and it just made it.
So, nobody's listening, but look at you.
Look
at you.
You know, I mean, when you got it, you got it. So,
exactly. Say
unpopular opinions is basically just you give an unpopular opinion, as the Twitter topic would suggest. So yeah, everyone will say one, and we'll just talk a little bit about it, and then we'll end the show.
Okay.
I think mine is I like the video for This Is America far better than I like the song. I don't think the song's really all that great.
I'm with you on that.
I like the ooh, like that whole part, but when it actually gets into like the trap part, I'm like, I don't really.
I actually agree with you on that.
I really don't care.
We share that one.
I don't know. I just think I have like a weird thing about it because like no one really paid attention to Childish's music until this, so I'm just like, oh, now
that is a fucking fact.
So now people are like, oh wow, like what is this new thing?
And
I'm
like,
and
as
viral,
I disagree.
And as viral as the video went, and it depends on to the degree of what you like feel radio represents. But when I'm driving, I don't hear that song at all. As viral as the video went,
heard it on the
I don't
radio
hear the song on the radio.
Once.
I hear it on the radio quite often.
I don't. At least
I've heard it maybe once.
I haven't heard
Hot
it
97
once
shows that song a lot of love.
Yeah.
They do. So 2 things. I prefer the song over the video. I was not moved at all by the video. I question who he makes his art for, because I feel the use of black bodies as art does not make me feel anything but cringe. I'm so tired of the trauma porn.
Could I get a little bit of a explanation on that? What do you mean a black body as art?
Well, I mean, when he was shooting up the choir, when he shot the man in the head with the bag over his head.
I got you.
I'm tired of the trauma porn, you know? I just feel like I could find that.
Trauma porn's a very good way to put it.
I can find that any day at any time on the internet, just surfing the web.
You need to really copyright that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, no, I'm not into it. And I felt like it would have been more exciting to me if the people in the video were white. I would have been like, oh, shit. He does not care. Yo,
but you know, you gotta keep that corporate money coming in. Though you gotta remember, he on FX,
wilding, and he's really
he got a few
making a statement.
But I think that would also alienate his like entire base, because Childish does have a lot.
But that's
of
what I'm
fans.
saying. Who do you make your art for?
He
white
gotta keep
people.
that. He wanted to get his message across, but he didn't want to alienate his base.
I think the bigger question is like, should art be made for people?
That's a good question. He said, should art be made for people?
And when you do start making art for people, is that still art?
I think I would have to say yes. I feel like if you're trying to send a message, I feel like art overall is sending a message, right? You want people to receive some form of information. So I feel if you do have a certain demographic you're trying to reach, then yes. But in its essence, no. You shouldn't make art for people. You should express yourself, yes.
And just like whoever catches it, catches it.
Exactly.
Because like, then that begs the question: is that art truthful?
This is very true as well.
And
very
if
true.
art is not true, then is it really art?
That's a very, very good question. But I think the thing that like bothers me about it is because like I've really liked Childish for like a really long time. Like he got me through his camp album. Got me through I think freshman year of college. I found out about him. I knew about him for like from Community, and I knew his stand up and stuff. But his music like touched me in a certain way because he's like, oh, I'm like an Oreo. And
that
I'm like,
was
oh,
another
I identify.
time.
So I was like, yeah. Like,
that was another time I seen how much females.
Women.
I'm sorry. That's another time how much I seen women. I went on a promo run, a college promo run with an artist, and he visited a lot of HBCUs, and the women that came out it was like insane, like probably damn near the whole university. You understand what I'm saying? And I was like, women really run shit. I mean, yeah, women, right? Yeah,
you did it.
Women really run shit. You understand? So, but yeah, go ahead though.
But are you guys gonna talk about his white wife?
I don't have a problem with that. Because you can love who you want to love and still like.
I don't.
My brother. There we go.
I don't have a problem with that.
There's gotta be one nigga in the room. Like let's talk about that white wife he got. My brother.
When you talk about who he's making his art for.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you have a white wife, it's like, could he really have made those black bodies white?
Okay, so it's a couple things y'all said. So to your point, okay, you said that it bothers you because people just started paying attention to his music. I'd have to disagree with that sentiment because I feel like when he made what was the album 3000? Well, the record 3005. People were on that. That was a summer record.
That, like, poppy.
Yes,
sort of, like.
Everybody was on that. His videos were really super weird at the time. I was really feeling it. He actually put Janae Aiko in the 3005 video. He like turned to an alien. But it was super
when
dope.
They used to be like that,
like a
couple,
fake couple, whatever.
Oh, they wasn't really dating.
Justice for Janae and Childish because they were.
No, they wasn't really dating.
No, it was so promo and marketing.
Yeah.
Oh.
When they dressed as like John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
Yes, for their bed piece video.
But weren't they spotted at like a few events and stuff together?
That was probably intentional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't really feel like they were really together.
I got you.
But I feel like for fans like you, it's so funny to me when you're like, well, I was riding with him. Nobody was listening to him.
That's like me all the time, though. So, like, don't even listen to me.
I feel you, but it's like, aren't you happy that more people are paying attention?
No.
Like,
never.
Like, more people paying attention now, but I feel like 3005 was a really big record.
But
I feel like the Redbone, huge record. Everybody loved that. They loved that. I feel like this was just like something that was more like controversial. Oh my God, he's stirring the pot. I think that's what people haven't seen from him yet.
But why now?
That's why
I really don't know. I can't speak for why now.
That's really why I want to know.
Like about like Beyonce in a way, you know. A lot of people have questioned like, why now?
Why now? What?
Like, why now do you choose to use your voice or your platform?
Oh no! I don't. Beyonce.
I don't agree with that.
Beyonce been on the front line for a long time.
Beyonce been in the trenches.
She been on the front line for a long time.
Beyonce's been on her Black Power wave.
Yeah, she been on the front line for a
minute.
Independent women.
There is not one Destiny's Child album that does not have a gospel song on it.
Or
not
undertone.
Or prayer, or like a prayer.
Even beyond that, not even with.
But that's not. But gospel music, right, is not a race.
It's not a race. No, but I'm just saying.
Because you go to a white church, they have gospel music.
No, but I'm saying her southern roots has never not been in touch with those. Never.
Explicit, support and voicing of her support of the Black struggle.
My brother, I will say this.
Forever.
Until
no.
Formation.
No, that's been forever.
I will say this. I will say this. Beyonce.
Forever.
The visual was explicit. She was like, you know what I'm saying? Like everything about Formation was explicit. It wasn't like I'm sugarcoating it. It wasn't like
no, but I don't.
It wasn't like
I don't think your support of Black people has to be so like Black power, blah blah blah. I think her just making songs like Bootylicious. It's like nobody was talking about I have a big butt and this is what it is. I have curves. I'm not gonna get skinny. I think that's something like that's representation for Black women to see.
She was skinny as shit as Bootylicious.
But she got that bubble though.
But you know what I'm saying? Like things like that. I think
she did not have no bubble.
I think it was just always an element and a part of her image. I feel like now,
just like reveling in what she
exactly.
has
But
I think y'all saying two different things.
No, wait, I didn't finish.
All right.
But let me finish.
I'm sorry.
I think when you get to a certain esteem, you realize like I have this platform. Like she probably was like, yo, I have all this money. I'm really influential. Like the Bayhive is like really a thing.
Mom, there you go.
It's time for me to really, really have a message. And I think she was starting to do that in Beyonce, the self-titled album. She has a song, my favorite song, Superpower. And in the video, they're fighting like the revolution.
There's like stuff burning.
Yes, there's stuff, and she specifically puts up the Black Power fist, and she's like fighting the good fight with the love of her life. Yeah. That's the entire video.
I think that's
the entire video.
She got to it. Yeah.
She's been implementing those messages, but I think she has to listen to fans like yourself. Like, okay, sis, what are you really trying to say? And I think just like, okay, I can't even be artistic with this anymore. I have to make it very blatant.
But I think a lot of times, you know, even with brothers like him, I think we get too caught up in the music and not caught up in the message. I think her message speaks louder than the music. Like, you know, when Houston was going through all of them hurricanes and all of them floods, B was the first one out there. Like, yo, I got y'all.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? Like her and Hove, I feel like they lead more from example than through the music. Like they lead through silence.
And it's low key.
Yeah.
It's so low. It's so low.
She does a lot for Houston. Like she does a lot for Houston. She does send so many kids to college from Houston.
And her Be Good Foundation does so much for people. I believe not in Haiti. Is it in Haiti? It's somewhere. Or is it in Africa?
I feel like I should know this. I'm embarrassed.
Yes. I believe they were providing water. Even Hove, like I think it was back in 2009. He did a documentary where he went to some African village.
Yeah,
and
the water. The water
yes,
thing.
And
yeah,
they
the water
walked
thing,
him to the miles they have to. They showed him the miles they have to walk to get to the only clean water pipe. And from that day, he started providing funding to that village.
Or the money that Hove is putting into the incarceration program that's going on right now, trying to get a lot of brothers out of jail and back on their feet. Like niggas don't gotta like you move out of act. And I think that's the thing nowadays. We get so caught up in celebrity that we forget the action part.
Like why she ain't post that she did this?
Yeah, right. Why you ain't post this on the gram? Like you know, like nah, just do the work, man. We don't need to see it.
Even bailing out Black Lives Matter protesters and being there with Trayvon parents, Martin's parents,
Khalif Browder,
making a documentary. You know.
But all this to say, I don't really like the song.
Yes, yo, I don't really like the video. I like the song.
She missed the whole talk about Hove. She's not that thoroughly impressed with Jay-Z all these years later.
I did not say that. I said I'm going to the show for Beyonce. I want to go to
she
Beyonce
one of those fans
concert.
like, why is this camel on stage? Why is her husband on stage?
Man, that's dirty.
That's how they know.
She calls him a camel. That's dirty.
No, that's how they be talking about him. That's how they be talking about him on Twitter. Like, yo,
I am not
why
the one.
Is this camel on stage right now with Beyonce?
Love watching just
I don't agree
her.
with
Like
that
if I could just watch her, but then
funny.
like looking back at the first On the Run tour, and she like danced to his song, so it's like I'm still getting a full Beyonce concert. It's all good.
I think, like I said, I think Jay-Z is just dependent on the era of Jay-Z you like. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's really what Jay-Z comes down
I agree. At this point in time,
yeah, totally. Because I as crazy as it sounds, I don't want to see a 444 Jay-Z concert.
No, I don't. That was not a concert. It's not a concert album.
Like when he did that 444 tour, I was like, hell no, I don't want to see that.
Not a concert album.
Yeah, like
tears.
I want to see early Hove, the Hove
I
know, like
Bonnie and Clyde Hove. When he was talking that talk.
That's the Hove I want to see. I don't want to hear all of this 444 shit. I'm good, man.
So, what are your unpopular opinions? You got to pick one. It could be about.
You go first.
It could be about absolutely anything.
Well, right now, this is what I've been arguing about for the last few days. Drake cannot fuck with Pusha T. That's what I've been arguing about.
Facts.
That record was hard though.
Drake cannot hold it.
I'm not gonna
lyrically.
lie.
Drake cannot fuck with Pusha T.
That record was hard though, and I have my critiques about Drake.
But then he just credited it after he did that. What is that? I'm upset. I thought that kind of like watered down everything that was going for him. Sorry.
Here's my thing with Push. Push is a nostalgic MC.
Very nostalgic.
He's right, and he takes his craft in terms of just that pen. He takes that very seriously. So you're not going to rush his process. Everybody's like, where's the response? Where's the response? You're not going to... Ether came out 3-4 months after Takeover. A lot of people forget that.
But I mean, we weren't living in the age of the internet.
That's true. Everything is super fast now. You want a microwave. You want it instantly. I get that. But Push come from that time, though. You understand what I'm saying? To where you're not going to... Like, I honestly, I don't think bar for bar, line for line, Drake can fuck with Pusha T.
Absolutely not. I could go on.
I
for days
believe Drake
about
is very strategic though, and
Absolutely.
I believe in him dropping 2 records. It's a similar marketing tactic with the Meek Mill saga.
Right.
You know, he dropped.
Drake is a brand.
He dropped back to back, but he also dropped Charged Up. Charged Up was more of the slower,
Charged Up was E,
melodic,
and back to back was the knockout punch.
And back to back was
and
the
I feel like
club
it's the same
banger.
thing now. I
And
feel like
it's the same type of formula.
what was it, Duppy?
Duppy is more of the slow, like bar for bar.
Duppy was just to let you know I got some shit loaded
exactly. Up. And Upset
and
is
I feel like
more,
he got,
I want to hear this in the club.
Right, and I
He's
feel like
very strategic.
He got the other joint loaded up, ready to go, but he just waiting on Push.
He's
you know
really good at marketing. That man's good.
And I feel like Push ain't gonna get not gonna get meeked on this one. Push not gonna get baited in.
No, because he's Pusha T.
Right, he's not gonna get meeked on this
because he's Pusha T.
Yeah, so that's just my unpopular opinion right now.
I don't really like Drake, so I will agree with that.
I can't.
Fans of the show will know all about my feelings towards Drake as I've chronicled them in several episodes.
I feel a lot of different ways about Drake too.
Now,
so
honestly, that is something I would like to see a lot of articles from women in hip hop about right now.
Drake?
That whole Drake and Pusha T thing. I would read so many of those because I would love to hear that opinion on who they think is staying tall in that rivalry. Because let's keep it real, they've been going back and forth for a long time.
Very long time.
The jab's been going back and forth.
Initially started with Wayne and Baby, so
yeah. Right, but then he been, you signed to a nigga who signed to another nigga. Like that's been going on for a minute now.
He signed to 3 different ones. That's the odd number.
They've been throwing.
He said some crazy line
you're right. And then Drake said, only thing you got on, like, fuck you and your time difference. Only thing you got on me, like, they've been throwing shots at you for a minute now. So
time.
I think it just got to a point where Drake got fed up.
Drake said you're not even top 5 talent on
that
your label.
Harsh. That was harsh.
And then named his shorty.
Yeah,
I make it ring on you.
I think the shit that hit the hardest is when he said he wrote "Father Stretch My Arms."
Yeah,
I think that line hit the hardest because then that throws all the ghostwriting shit out the window.
Let's get this out the way. Kanye don't write his own shit, so if you're gonna talk about people not writing their own shit, you need to Google Rhymefest and Consequence because they wrote for your favorite rapper.
But
and the story and Drake and Kanye live down the street from each other.
But it's hard for you to throw shots at him for not writing his rhymes when he wrote your boss's rhymes.
No, that's not a fact.
Huh?
That's not a fact.
Listen, Kanye is Pusha T's boss. So if
I thought you were talking about somebody else.
No, yeah, I'm saying Kanye.
You're right.
Kanye is Pusha T's boss. So if Drake is saying he wrote your boss's rhymes, then how you gonna throw shots at Drake for not writing his rhymes?
That's essentially what he was saying.
And that's why I felt like that line was so hard.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Drake said that to Pusha.
Yeah, he said, you wasn't saying all that when your boss asked me to write his rhymes.
He said I had to do things for him I didn't even think I'd have to do.
Yeah. So that was like, that was tough right there. I think that was the hardest line in the
song. I recorded Pop Style for 30 hours just to let you like come in and fix it.
That was
yeah, but so I think, Drake has this uncanny ability to make you feel like shit. You know what I mean?
He's really good.
He has a very good job at doing that.
Energy.
Yeah.
He real manipulative,
but
and strategic. I gotta give it to him.
No, yeah, right. All that, but all, and that's why I feel like what I'm saying is an unpopular opinion. Because all that aside, I do feel like line for line, bar for bar, rap for rap,
a true rap battle.
Yeah,
toe to toe.
Pusha T will thoroughly thrash.
In the circle, off the dome. I do not think that Drake could do it off.
Totally agree.
Like, and that's what I'm saying.
There's no way on God's green
when
earth
it comes
that
to
Drake
pure
can
rapping.
No way on God's green earth.
That like a pure rap
right,
battle.
A pure rapping, Drake cannot hold a candle to Pusha T.
Yeah? He's gonna be like,
man,
A,
that
B,
is so
C,
funny.
D.
Yeah,
that is so funny.
Type of situation where somebody gives like they have topics in a hat or something.
I honestly still don't think he would be able to do it though.
No, I agree, but I'm saying because otherwise you could come to the rap battle prepared. You know what I'm saying? Unless it was spontaneous.
I agree.
Yeah.
What about you, Kai?
I really do not know what my unpopular
It could be about
opinion
anything.
is.
Let me think of what we've done in the past.
I've been thinking and like trying to.
I've said Friends
brainstorm
was a
one.
bad show.
Okay,
but that's not really that unpopular.
it's not.
Female woman thing that you've been.
Oh, that's not really an unpopular opinion. That's just
About.
etiquette. That's just etiquette.
That she's been
That's
thoroughly
just
thrashing
etiquette.
you
That's
all,
just
all
etiquette.
podcasts.
That's
I'm trying to think of what else. I've said like foods that are not that great, songs that are not that great. Oh, I know my one for next time. Oh, I gotta write it down.
I'm trying to think
before I forget. You've got this, girl. Could be anything in the world.
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
I usually have them like randomly pop up in my head, but today it's like blank, of course.
Yeah, stuff that are overrated. Could be anything in the world.
Don't make me start naming names, girl. I have you talking about people up here.
I feel like I'm on the spot now. Okay, so
Oh, I can't wait for mine for next time. I got a good one. It's not really. It's like a stupid one though. It's
I don't
like
even
really
know
stupid.
what to say. I don't even know what to say.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to think of one.
Just name somebody you think is whack.
Name somebody I think
Who you
is
think is whack?
Besides Tekashi.
Someone who's overrated right now.
Somebody who's overrated. Somebody who's overrated right now. Besides Tekashi, we talked about him already. Somebody who's overrated.
Okay, no, let's go back to Drake. Unpopular opinion. Okay.
Okay.
Unpopular opinion about Drake. I think that Drake is just as misogynistic as Migos.
I said this in my episode a couple of shows ago.
Drake is just as misogynistic as Migos. Or a Kodak Black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone was
or, you know,
my guess,
2 Chainz
Mm-hmm.
or Travis Scott. Any one of these
my
young
guess
guns out here
My
running
guess was
around.
I don't understand what you mean. And I'm like, oh no, trust me.
Yeah, I think
feels
that
good.
I think what people fail to realize is like just because a man isn't calling me a bitch on the track or like being like blatantly derogatory, it does not mean that he is not being misogynistic. And I think Drake does that a lot in a lot of his music, particularly his songs that lean more towards the R&B realm. He laments over women that he can't control. He's very possessive. In every instance, it's always about an ex who decided to move on and do better with their life. And he's just like, you know what? You want to act like that? I'm going to give you back to the hood. Like, excuse me, what, sir? You're going to do what? You're going to do what?
You can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
You're gonna
That's
do
basically
what?
what he's trying to say.
It's very peculiar to me. Like, even his...
Well, can you?
Even his...
Can you?
Even his collection of Birkin bags, like for his future wife, is very peculiar to me. It's weird, and it's a bit obsessive.
He does mention Birkin bags a lot, right?
It's a bit obsessive.
It's
a bit obsessive, and I think that a lot of people are like, "What do you mean? He's like the poster boy for actually treating women right." I mean,
LOL.
look at Nice for what? And it's like just because you put women in your video and you make a song championing women who want to be independent and move past certain, you know, men or obstacles in their life does not mean that you are aligned with women's best interests. I don't know Aubrey Graham, but I'm saying Drake, the persona, is very contradictory because you make a song like Nice or What, but then you also have a song like Hotline Bling, where you're basically saying like, yo, you out at the club popping bottles with girls I've never seen before? What are you doing? Like, who are you? It's like, it's weird. It's just the messaging that he puts out there.
Any type of Drake slander is always welcome on this show.
No.
I love it.
I just
honestly,
feel like
this feels so
I just
good.
feel like we have to stop. Like, oh my God, Drake wouldn't treat me like this or things like that. Like, it's like, you know, Drake would play some hella mind games on your dumb ass and have you like really fucked up out here. Yo, facts. Wrote about you. Like, really have you out here fucked up. So I guess that's my unpopular opinion.
Do you think Drake would send like Snapchats to the girls who he was once with and just be like, remember, like this was our song? Like, I feel like that's something he would do.
I mean, he talks about them so frequently. I'm sure. And names like Courtney on Peach Street. Why do I know that?
I don't want to know your life, Drake.
I don't want to know about that. Don't name names.
I think that's all. So we'll do our wrap up and then we'll get to going. This was a good episode.
Really?
And it was my first in like a month because people, I'm telling you, like people just flake.
Oh man.
Like I've had a lot of fights.
That's the unfortunate part
It's
of the
so
game
unfortunate.
today. Yeah.
And it's
I'm
stressful.
always welcome.
But you're dope,
back.
so who wouldn't want to talk to you, right?
I'm always
That's what
here
I want to know.
and willing for coming back.
You guys are awesome. So
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So that's all for And Friends with Jana Jefferson. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JNA Jefferson. Follow the show on Instagram at And Friends Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes, the podcast app, and Google Play, where you can stay up to date on new episodes when they become available. And if you'd like to be a guest host like my friends Payso and Kai, hit me up at andfriendsguest@gmail.com and we'll keep in touch. Extreme thanks to my guest hosts for today, Payso and Kai, for being so great. Do you guys have anything to promote on your own ends?
Tune in to PMG Radio every Tuesday from 8 to 10 p.m. That's live at wearepmg.net/PMG Radio. We are PM as in Mary G.net/PMG Radio. Tune into that. Shout out to Click Vodka.
Shout out to Click Vodka
for sponsoring this. You had me babbling.
I'm gonna be so twisted by the time my show comes. You know what I mean?
Definitely had me babbling.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
How about you, Kai?
Well, you can find me at the Kai Miller, TheKaimiller, on all social media accounts. Also, shout out to my 24 Hours gang. You can follow us at 24hours.co on all social handles. We are a full suite production company. Shout out to gang. We got our own studio. We're actually doing an event on June 9th called Kickback Thursdays.
I'm going to that.
Yes, so pull up, come vibe, come see our space, mix and mingle with us. Other creatives, see who's in your fields, has the same interests as you. We have a couple of more events coming up this summer. I'm also dropping a really big project soon in correlation with my own platform, The Last New Yorker, where I get to just talk my shit and tell you about the hidden gems of the city that I love so much, my dear Rotten Apple. So definitely stay tuned. And hit me up, like I said, at the Kai Miller on all social handles. And yeah.
You have the sweetest voice.
Really?
It's so nice.
Thank you.
It's so like calming and soothing, and you're just like so like well spoken, and you're like, really? I would just like to say,
don't gas me.
It's great.
Don't gas me, please.
It's
don't
so
gas
splendid.
me. My head's already mad big.
So the closing remarks. Okay, to preface this, I feel like I always say to preface this, to start this off. Okay, so when the show first started, we all collectively hate Donald Trump, right? He's like the worst thing ever.
Yes, exactly.
So, but when the show first started, we would do like an F you to him before the show, and it would be like, F you, Donald, like your weave stank. And now we're just like, instead of doing that, we give like a constructive criticism. So it's like, instead of tweeting, I think you should blank. So that like a little bit of help with a little bit of shade. So what do you think that Donald Trump should do this week instead of tweet?
Instead of tweeting, he needs to look beyond the 30 white people he has in front of him and realize there's a bigger world out there that's going through a lot more than he can ever understand.
Ooh,
wow, that was so
that's
deep
a
and
good
nice.
One.
I'm about to read him for Phil.
Yes.
I love that you took the very high road.
Very high road.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so instead of tweeting, Donald Trump can please do more to stop looking like a Sims character. Like him and Melania look really crazy when they're next to each other.
Oh, my thing was gonna be he needs to learn his wife's name.
Yo, facts. Or can they look like they're actually like together? Like,
it is kind of crazy. I said that shit the other day. I said I'm convinced he does not know how to spell his wife's name.
He put Melanie. I was like, that poor girl. I do kind of feel bad for her because like she just wanted her she wanted her sugar daddy, and now like she's stuck.
Oh, true.
She's stuck here, and she's doing something she didn't want. She
Did
just
you
wanted
see
the
her
money.
little? You know how the first lady is supposed to have like her own
like little platform
and campaigns.
Yeah.
What was it called?
It was like Do Better or something.
Do Best.
Do Best.
Do Best.
Do Best.
And just the logo looked terrible. Like it's all bad, y'all.
I wish
this is
I wish
ending
her the
remarks.
best.
This is a simulation. This is not even real.
This is not a real.
This is a Black Mirror episode. We're not even here.
And I don't like this episode.
I
It's
don't
not
like
my
it at all.
favorite.
I'm gonna make it to the next one though. Best believe.
I hope so. By the way things are going,
It's
I
all
hope
a
so.
simulation. I'm convinced because there's no way. No way. There's no way.
So that is the end of the episode. Listen to us in 2 weeks. We'll have a new guest. This next one should be fun and loud and flamboyant because it's Pride. So I got to represent for my favorite community to support.
I love it.
My LGBTQs. So be ready for that because it's going to be a doozy. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Later. Peace.